Starting your own apple orchard is easy to do, doesn't take that long. Now you can go out and buy 5/8 inch whips, and you can plant these into your area, and within 3 years start to have fruit. But that gets expensive if you're not buying a lot of trees at once. Now one thing you don't want to do, for instance, we have this honeycrisp tree. You don't want to go off and cut branches off these honeycrisp trees and plant those in the ground. You can do that on whatever tree you want. Try to start your own roots, plant it in the ground and grow a tree. The problem is you will not get a hardy tree. You want to go out and buy rootstocks that are for your area. They're hardy to the weather. They're hardy to diseases, so they're more disease resistant. And how do you know if you're getting a dwarf or a semi-dwarf or a full-grown tree? So don't take the branches off and start your trees that way. There's a much easier and better way. For seeds in your apple trees, once you got a mature apple, take the seeds out, grow your seeds. You don't want to do that. The problem there is you're going to get some type of tree that's going to grow within the genetic code of that honeycrisp. And you don't know if you're going to get apples, sour apples, sweet apples. It's not going to be the same. What you want to do is you want to have a perfect clone of the fruit you like. Whether it's a honeycrisp, a wealthy, whatever that fruit is, a peach or a pear, you want to clone that. Now you don't have to be a scientist, know how to clone trees and make a perfect genetic match. It's easy to do. But what you do want to do is buy a rootstock for your area. I use the ELMA 26 for Midwest. Very resistant disease. It's a semi-dwarf. But you want to start with a rootstock. Now, you can take your rootstock and you can cut 1-year-old scions off your trees. So these scions that are growing right here, these new ones, like these tall guys here, in the winter I can cut those off and save those, and next year I can graft those to my rootstock and plant them. Now some people say that's the best way to go. No, that is not the best way to go, because it takes a little longer than if you're doing budding, if you're using buds. What you can do between July and August, you can take these new growths just this year, and each one of these leaves here has a bud under it, and you can take that budding off and you can put that on your rootstock. Now the first year that may not sprout and grow, but the beginning of the second year that will take off, and that will grow much faster than the scion that you put on it, and it will develop a much stronger graft than a cleft or a tongue and whip graft. Now you will have to put that in the garden for a year, maybe 2 years, before you transplant that orchard, but that is easy to do. It's very quick, and you can develop a whole orchard for just a few dollars. Rootstock you can buy in the market. I paid $2.50 a rootstock, so they're not expensive. You can also buy a few rootstock, and it's easy to grow your own rootstock. So what you want to do is an exact clone of that fruit tree. To do that is to take either buds from that tree or to take scions from that tree and graft those to a rootstock. Now here I purchased my own rootstock. Went out and bought 26 of these rootstocks for $2.25. EMLA 26, so it's a semi-dwarf. I got it from Rain Tree Nursery. But guess something for your area. This one, I did not do any grafting to this rootstock. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grow my own rootstock. So I will cut this off at the ground. I will fill this in with sawdust or sand, and all the shoots that grow up from that the following year, I'll start cutting those off, leaving the roots on each one of those, and you'll have your own rootstock. Another thing you can do as I let this grow, I cut this off, these branches that are growing here, I can plant those or create my own little greenhouse, get the roots to start growing, put that in the ground, and start my own rootstock there. But again, you want to start your apple orchard from a known rootstock so that you get a hardier tree, you get the tree that you want, and you get a disease-resistant tree for your area. Now here, I've taken my rootstock this year, and I did grafting to it. I did the cleft graft and the whip and tongue graft. These are honeycrisp and wealthies. I just planted these. These are a few weeks old, and they already all got growth on them. So as you can see, they start very fast. I'll let these grow here for 2 years, and I'll put them in the orchard. So in a small area, you can start a lot of these trees and start your own orchard. It will take you a couple more years than what a 5/8 inch whip would be if you bought it, but it's going to be a lot less money. Now, the best thing to do, I did not do that with these because I was demonstrating how to do these, is to take your rootstock and instead of doing a cleft graft, do a bud graft. If you use a bud graft on these trees will grow much faster and develop a much stronger graft, and you can start your apple orchard a little faster.